Triumph vlog, number 5 I think. We lost one along the way, but yeah, this is number 5. As you can see, the frame and swing arm and motor behind me. So I've got my 955i motor, an 04 I think, I don't even know. Lots of stuff happening there. I'll show you what's going on with mounting of the motor. There isn't anything really that matches up as far as the mounts go. The later frames are completely different to these ones. These ones, the whole motor swings on this pair of plates at the back. Well, I need those to swing the suspension off, the linkage off. So I'm including those, and I'm moving some of the other mounts to reach them, but we'll go through all that in a minute. Right now we're gonna, okay, to start with, you can see I've pushed the motor across, got this great big long spacer, and that makes it sit pretty central in the frame. I've cut this mount off, and what I'm going to do there is level that up once I can use an angle grinder, because I work at night and I don't like using an angle grinder. And we're going to use this heavy plate to make a mount that bolts onto there. Neaten it all up, round it off, do some nice big welds, drill a hole, all good. Then we'll have the front mount sorted. Now around the back it's a little more complex. I'll try and show you what's going on. Now the first thing we had to do was align the sprocket. So the front sprocket is in there. Align the sprocket with the rear sprocket, which I did with a string line. And it came up pretty right. I had to pull it across a little bit, but not too much. Now, as you can see, these mounts up under here on the Sprint, they don't actually bolt anything to the inside of them. So that caused some problems with mounting these plates. On the Sprint, they just bolt a mount here and that's it. Now you can see where I've cut off the old mounts that go on here. They're gone. You can see I weren't anywhere near it. So and you can see this is the bottom mount, and you can see it misses that completely. So I'm going to be cutting these off completely, dropping them down, and then plating them in, bolting them up, and then welding them. So, and as for these plates, I did have to modify them a bit. Obviously, I had to cut the tops off them and put these other plates in to bolt in at the top, and I'll be fully welding those and grinding them to shape and doing everything like that. Everything's rough at the moment, so but they still bolt in the right position, and that you can see that spacer across the bottom. That's what the suspension linkage swings off. This is where is it? This I had to cut this to clear this mount, cut this plate. This I've added on, and I'll be welding this and filling all this in as much as I can to give it as much strength as I can, just so that doesn't move. And then moving this mount so that it actually lines up with this, which won't be too much. I'll probably only have to cut one side of it and bang it down a little bit, put a spacer in and a bolt, and that's it. And once I've done that and welded the two top mounts in, I've got that same heavy plate that I'm going to use for the front mount. I'll use for I'll use for mounts here. I'll put them across and then strut them on the inside. I'll do the same on the other side. And once all that stuff's done, and it'll only be a few hours work, once I get going with the grinder and the welder, the motor will be mounted, and then it's just a matter of basically just assembling everything and getting everything to fit and making sure everything's got enough mounts and things like that. There's still a lot of work to do on the tank, obviously, because I'm going from carburetor to injected, so I need to put fittings onto the tank where I can quick release it and it's not going to pour fuel everywhere, and I need to mount a externally mounted pump. I think, because from what I heard, these have the fuel pressure regulator inside the tank. So what I do have is a bunch of, I've got a bunch of K-Series, BMW K-Series, which are vacuum referenced, and they're a 40 psi regulator. So I can definitely use one of those. That's fine. And just so there's your fuel rail there, and I just in between, somewhere in this line or the other one, I can't really, I don't know which one's which at the moment. I would say that's probably that one's probably the pressure. So somewhere in this line I'll put a I would say a regulator. That's cool. And that'll keep my fuel pressure steady. And the vacuum referenced ones, when you open the throttle quickly, as the vacuum drops in the manifold, you get a boost. It raises the fuel pressure slightly, so you get a little boost of fuel, which is a great system. And what most cars have got, actually, it's the same setup. So there's my alternator. I've taken all the wiring off at the moment, just so, because I've got a lot of grinding and welding to do. I mocked up the rear axle with just a piece of pipe so that was in the right position, so I could line up the front and rear sprocket. What else? I've run over it with some torpedo levels just to make sure everything's fairly level, and it seems pretty good. As far as the alignment front to rear, I'm not sure. That's probably going to have to wait until everything's mounted, and then I'll see how things look, and then I might be able to adjust things around a little bit. I definitely will be able to adjust things around a little bit, but everything looks pretty good so far. That's it for now. It's just I'll probably get back to you when I've finished cutting, grinding and welding, because that's all I'm going to be doing for a while. Yeah, and by then I'll have the rear suspension in and buttoned up, and yeah. All right, well, there she is in all her glory. Next time. What is it? What is it? What do you want?
Sort of going on another planet. Right?
Come on.
No, but do you know what I mean? It would be quite sort of interesting.
What do you want?
Well, yeah, you'd go on a rocket and stuff.
You're rude.
You're having a bit of a wander. But just to check a bit of it, that's what I'm saying. But the thing was, because I was looking into it a bit, because I was reading about the Virgin.
Hello.
And I was reading something that in 1971, right? 3 of them went
You're up on top of, ain't you?
One bloke.
Hey? Up on top of.
The other 2 wandered
Right. Oh, get out the way.
about, seeing what rockets were like.
Hello.
And that bloke who was in the rocket, right? He was the loneliest.